that we don't know that much. Now, I want to tell you a story at this point, which is kind of interesting. It's a story about the restored Church of God, and it parallels John the Baptist preparing for Christ. So John went out and everybody went to him, and he baptized who knows how many thousands of people across Jordan, Jerusalem, all Judea. They all went out to him. And then he eventually baptized Christ, and he was to prepare a people for the Lord. And he did. Christ came, and everybody saw that he baptized Christ. He said, I'm not worthy to latch at your shoes. I decrease, you increase. So Christ started out, we might say, with an enormous bang. He did things like feeding 5,000 men, which we've estimated are 20 to 30,000 people, counting their children. Massive throngs. There's another time he fed 4,000 people, which would be plus women and children. The multitudes, it says over and over, went out to see him. He sat in a boat once and talked to all kinds of them, and who knows how many people. He would go into a village and heal the entire village. Now, John didn't do any miracles, not one, not one. If he did, they're not recorded. He did none. Maybe he did them before his ministry. I don't know, not one. But Christ did endless miracles, all kinds of things. Yet there was this interesting moment in John 6 that you come to, John 6:66. So here we are again. But anyway, it's in John 6, verse 66. It's an accident. But after he said, you have to eat my flesh and drink my blood, and I'll raise you on the last day. And verse 66, verse 65, we all well know, therefore said I unto you that no man can come to me except we're given unto him of the Father. From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more with him. They just walked away. Now, they saw all these miracles and they walked away. I watched people walk away from the church. They saw miracles. By the time Christ was crucified, and at the end of 40 days of working with his disciples, 119 people are the sum total of those who are still with him. Now, they saw it grow black. They saw an earthquake. Great numbers saw him. But only 119 were still there, 120 minus Judas. So what happened to everybody? In some ways, that's the story of the restored Church of God. We were booming along for about 15 years. 20% growth, boom, 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 boom. I have the numbers. A couple of years we hit 30 and 25, and then a couple times maybe we were 15 or 17, whatever it may have been. But 20%. And then Mr. Peck started talking about the plan of God. And we leveled off. And people were learning things they never knew. But this one that God calls a refiner's fire and fuller's soap and a poker started poking people, started saying things, and they didn't know. They're learning exciting things. Wow, look at that. But we leveled off. Now, I realize some died, but the worse the world got, the more our young people said, I want the devil's world. So we went flat, and we've been flat pretty much ever since. I'm thankful we're not down to 119 people, but if we were, would you be one of them? I didn't do any miracles, and I'm far from being like Christ. So I'm just telling you, it's been a process. There have been people who said, I'm staying come fire, hail, windstorm, hell or high water, and if they all come at the same time, I'm going to still be here. But right here in John 6, then said Jesus unto the 12, will you also go away? Like maybe they weren't even secure. And Peter said, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we believe and are sure that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And not too long after that, of course, Peter denied him 3 times, but then he rallied, and you know that story. So that's quite a story about us. It's almost like when it really got exciting, that people had to meet standards. Whoa, I think I'm not as other men. I'm doing just fine, which of course is said during the year. And others are saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. People kept quitting. Quitting now? Are you insane? The answer is yes. Yes, they are. Some died. But let me tell you something interesting about a refiner, and I never thought about this. This refiner's fire and fuller's soap. Refining never, ever ends with more than you started with. It always grows smaller because you're taking the other alloys and the dross out of the group. So once we got into the refining for this tiny group that was going to go first and lead 100 billion people, had to get hot. Everybody else is going to get a whole year of it. We're not going to get that intensity, but we had a period where it's been hot. It's hot in the world now, but I mean, it's been fairly hot for us. And I just wanted you to understand, would you stay? I don't think we have any more time. I think you know enough about prophecy to know we don't, but would you? Or would you just go away and say, I'm going fishing? You see, like Peter later said he would do after he said here he wouldn't. All right. That's something to ponder. We've seen refining in the most extraordinary things. I mean, you tell people that they've got to sell all. Some do. Others say, no, can't do that. And there are various other things that, of course, have come along. Now, I want to give more proofs of Heshvan 1.